Selling your home in 2025 right here in Halifax. We're going to have a chat today.
Oh, we are going to have a chat.
Okay. So, I've talked about tariffs today. I've been putting everybody in the hot seat. 69% of homes are selling under asking.
Yes.
And it's under asking for minimum of $42,000 or average $42,000.
Yeah.
So is it us? Is it the seller? Is it the market? Why do we have, that large percentage, 69, selling under asking?
I'll take the easy option and say it's a mix of all of them.
Okay.
So I think definitely we have, as realtors, we have been saying probably for the last 3 years, not maybe last year, but certainly that run up after COVID, market's hot, it's not going to be a problem, etc., etc. So that's our fault. And we need to change the record.
Every time I see that, I cringe. You're on the marketing committee with me. We got to stop that.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's not a hot market. It was only hot during COVID.
For 1 year, really.
Year and a half.
Yeah, not much.
Because, so you're about the only other agent that I know who looks at stats the way I do.
Yeah.
And we've only ever had 4,400 homes sell on average each year since 2016.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So the industry is projecting a market that's not there.
Anymore, true.
No.
It was there for say a year and a half.
Yeah.
So the other side of it then is, but because we were saying that for a year, now the consumer, the people that are selling the houses have gone, well, I've been hearing this for so long, I'm going to stick that in my head, and that's going to be the narrative I'm going to employ when I'm talking to realtors who are coming to sell my house. So 4 realtors, 3 realtors, 2 realtors turn up, the seller's going to take the one that says, oh yeah, I can get that number. And usually it's the seller going, I want that number. So then you go back to the realtor and say, have you done your research properly and actually determined the right market value?
Yes, because I remember I lost a listing last year.
Oh my God, you lost a listing?
I know.
No wonder you're upset.
And so they called me up and they're like, saying we want to sell the house, right? And I knew the house because we helped them buy. I said, you list at $749, you're going to get an offer between $699, $729. Well, Sandra, another agent said that we can, $838. I said, I tell you what, I said, if that agent thinks that they can bring you that money, you should list with that agent.
Absolutely.
Because I cannot give you those results based on, I can't base what's active to help list your house. I mean, I can make you better than the competition.
Yes.
But you're going to get an offer based on what's sold.
Yeah.
Needless to say, guess what that house sold for?
Low 7s.
$729.
There you go. Should have listened to Sandra.
Well, no, and I would never say I told you so, but that does go through my head. But
no, you'd never tell them.
No.
But you're going, told you so.
Yes. But I think now pricing at market value is more important than ever.
Definitely.
What conversation are you having with your sellers?
Well, we've just been having 3 or 4 conversations with different sellers who are at different stages getting ready. But the conversation is always, we're not going to set the price today if you're ready to go to the market in late March or April.
It could change.
Because it's going to change. That's the one thing we all know about our market. It will change. So we're going to wait to have that price discussion. But based on what we've seen now sell, which is for January, not a lot of properties have sold. January is our quietest month of the year.
Yeah, well, we did 210,
that's not bad.
A little bit more than last year this time.
True.
It was 193.
Yeah, so we're selling a little bit more, but again, it's not enough. And especially if you're in my market of Fall River, we sold 4 homes.
Yep.
I can't go back and say, well, of those 4 homes in Fall River, yours is the nearest comparable to this one, because in Fall River, they're all very different as well.
Yes, of course.
So now you're, let's say, best case in the world, you're guesstimating what you think the price would be. And as you know, the only time you know the real price of a house is when a willing buyer and a willing seller come to an agreement on a number. That's
Absolutely.
the only time you've got the price right.
Yep.
But me and you aren't the willing buyers or sellers.
No, there's 3 factors to selling a house. There's 1, it's the market.
Yeah.
What's happening.
Yeah.
2, it's the seller. How they keep their home. They set the perimeters of what they want the offer to be and what their price is.
Yeah.
And for us, it's what we do is how we market how we negotiate,
Yeah.
and give advice to our seller. Those are the three. But at the end of the day, your house is only going to go for what someone's willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
So I had Keith and Chandler here earlier today, and I want to put a bet down with Chandler because everybody's all about the market being bullish.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Yeah. Well, again, we're in the first month of 12-month year.
Yeah.
So to try and figure out what's going to happen over the next 11 months based off what happened in January, you're a bit of a fool if that's what you're going to base your ideas for the rest of the year on.
Well, I'm saying it's not going to be bullish. So but they're saying
they're all over it. They're saying yes.
Yes, they're really confident. And I'm I don't know. I don't
I'm
see
kind of
it.
50-50. It's that same thing that we always do is you hope for all of your sellers that it's going to be a really strong year. Because make no bones about it, when we sell, we make the commission. So the higher the price goes or the more we sell, the more commission we make. So absolutely, we want it to be a great year. But equally, the key thing we have to do is be like, but it's about the sellers and the buyers going, yes, we want it to be a good year or not. So if there's loads of buyers turn up and there's not a huge amount of houses for sale, which there isn't right now, it's going to be a good year for the sellers. But equally, if there's a load of sellers that think it's going to be a good year and flood the market with listings, and the buyers are roughly the same as last year, it's not going to be such a great year.
Because when I look at, so my business just exploded in the past 2 weeks, but it's normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, it's not busy.
Yeah. It's the spring market getting ready.
Yeah. I'm back to what I was before COVID, and I think 2024 and 2023 was a hangover.
Yes.
Right? It's people are still trying to find their way around.
Higher interest rates as well on mortgages.
And then 2024, okay, now I'm recuperating.
Feeling my way back into the market.
And this is it. Because it was really weird. I don't know about you, but for me during COVID, if I didn't have 6 listings that I was putting, or 6 to 12 listings that I was putting to market that month, because that's what I usually do.
Yeah.
But to only have intermittent, I was maybe lucky to be selling maybe 5 homes during COVID, in a month, where I usually sell a lot more.
Yeah.
So I just think with the inventory coming on, I am right back before COVID.
Yeah. And therefore that's going to dictate more listings coming on is going to give buyers more choice. Because I don't think we're going to get a flood of buyers
which is abnormal.
Well, the rush that we had in the COVID years was people moving from Ontario, Alberta and BC coming to Nova Scotia. It wasn't Nova Scotia buyers going, oh my God, I've got to buy a house. It was everybody in Ontario, BC, Alberta going, do you know what? It's a lot cheaper over there. Let's go over there and sell our $1.5 million condo in Toronto and Vancouver and go and buy $1.5 million on the lake in a 4,000 square foot home. Those buyers in my world, because we do get a lot of buyers from relocating, have dropped off a lot. So we're not seeing those people from Ontario, BC, Alberta, or the UK going, Nova Scotia is where I'm going to be and I'm going to bring my money with me. So if those buyers are dropping off, now we come back to, okay, we need local buyers.
We're just a local market.
And if local buyers, can they afford $800, $900, $1 million?
Oddly enough.
Some can.
Right, but if you look at the numbers, so it was a lot more better for anybody over 800,000. Last year, 800 to 999, there was only 32. This year it was 52.
Yeah.
I will tell Chandler Halliburton, I told you so for sure.
Have that bet.
I will.
Make it an interesting bet as well.
Yeah, well, I know. I got to come up with something really good.
Yeah.
I remember during COVID, we were doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And were you on the one with Thomas Bajuggalo was on with us?
Yes.
And, he was, this is going to continue. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was impossible for what was happening in COVID to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a blip and it was very, very low supply and incredibly high demand. So those come across every 10 to 12 to 15 years if you're lucky. And we've just had it. So now, like you say, 23 and 24 were the hangover years, higher interest rates, everybody getting used to new pricing because, we went up, 50% in 2 years.
Crazy, yeah.
So now all of a sudden, you look at the average price and we're easily 600, 650 for the whole of HRM. Go back to, and I just looked today and like, when was it? Like, I remember it being in the 300s. Yeah, 2019, we were at high threes. Now we're low sixes.
Yep. Isn't that wild?
That's only 5 years ago.
I know. I remember being, I had to give a presentation in 2017 and our average house price point was 265. Like it was something.
We should have bought a lot of houses ourselves.
Oh my
that
goodness.
Year. Yeah.
But I can't rent them because I'm not good at that.
We'll give it to Ben. Ben will rent them.
So only 23% of homes are selling over asking.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, we're trending.
Yeah.
To be normal.
Yeah. So when you look at 23% is still, let's say, nearly a quarter of every house of the market, a quarter are selling over asking. And I think it's going to be a combination of two things. Number one, potentially a little bit lower than you should have actually done pricing wise. But number two, it's got to stand out. It's got to be that home that somebody opens the doors and goes, wow, I'm going to put an offer in on this house.
Yeah. And
then it's not just that one buyer, because usually, let's say at least 75% of the time, if something's going over asking, well, really 100% of the time, it's got to be because of competition. Mm-hmm. Like if I was walking into a house that you were my buyer's agent and you said, okay, here's the house, you're the only buyer that's looking at this house and you're the only one that's putting an offer in, I suggest you're putting 25,000 over asking.
Oh no.
I think I'd fire you.
I'm 25 under asking.
Exactly, because I'm the only buyer. So if it's going over asking, it's got to be because of multiples. So it's that house that somebody has said, okay, here's where we think the market is. Hopefully the agent said, here's the market price. But then the buyers have all come in and gone, oh no, I want this house. Like, I need to have this house. So
are you still seeing properties being listed drastically under ask?
Not a lot. I've seen a few where I've walked in and went, really? Like, is this right, this price? What am I missing? Because that's the other problem sometimes, is you go into a house that you walk in at $499 and think this is like $565 all day long. Am I wrong? Is it something I've not figured out here, or is there a problem? Now, if there's a problem and you're factoring that into the price, hopefully the agent that's selling the house, listing agent, would have actually said, by the way, just so you know, we're at this number because. Great, okay, now I can understand it. But, if I walk in there and go, there's nothing wrong with this house, why are we at 565?
Yeah.
So that's the issue is it the listing agent, or is it just the market that says, okay, actually we are wrong when we're coming in as buyers?
I had a seller call me the other day. They wanted to up their price. What was on the listing?
So they were already listed.
Right.
And
I'm like,
to go up.
You know what's going to happen? I said, they're going to look at your original price and they're going to offer you off that price and not off of the current price. So no, we can't do that.
No.
And so I would see some real estate agents maybe eating crow that, okay, Mr. Seller, let's list your house at X because we're going to get multiple offers. And then no multiple offers come.
Yeah.
And then now they raise their price. And but if I'm looking if I am in the buyer agent role, well, if they're willing to accept 500,000, here you go. Here's 475.
Yeah. So the question then becomes to the sellers from the listing agent side: if you're prepared to list your house at 500, but actually you want 525, if somebody came to you with an offer and they're the only offer on the table at 500, which is your listing price, would you take it? Yes or no? And if the seller's like, no, I wouldn't, okay, we need to have another conversation about the market and why you think you won't accept an offer at your listing price. Because in my world, it's like listing a car for $50,000. I'm going to try to get it for cheaper, absolutely. But if the car manufacturer says, I want $50,000 for this car, then that's what you would potentially pay for that car. You wouldn't go, well, actually, I know I'm the only buyer for that car, but I'll offer you 55.
No.
Crazy. Same thing with a house. Yeah. If you're having that expectation with the seller and you say you're going to list at 500 and I bring you an offer in, let's say the first 2 weeks at $500,000, full listing price with sensible conditions and a closing date you like, there should be no reason why that seller wouldn't go, I agree, and sign.
Absolutely. Now I am listing a property at $499 Because I am looking for multiple
Well, that's why you
offers.
chose the 500 number.
No,
Okay.
no, it was because this is an easy number.
Yeah.
But I am expecting the home to sell for mid 500s.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe if I listed the home for 549,
Yeah.
I wouldn't get any showings.
Right. Just because there's that perception of, ooh, 550, a little bit pricey is getting
Yep.
there. Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, when I get like well, depending on what the house is, right? But the 499 is such a sweet spot
Yeah.
for such a humongous amount of buyers,
Yes.
right?
And it's also affordable.
Yeah. Then I have another property that I'm bringing to the market. They wanted to list over 700, and I'm like, 699. And so when I showed them,
Yeah.
I said, look, the difference in the buyers. So this was all of the buyers for 2024
Yeah.
when I had the
Yeah.
stats. The pocket in the 600 echelon, like in that price bracket, was astronomically higher than anything over 700.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you need to be
That's where
in
all the buyers
600.
are. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you look at, let's say the average household income is 100 grand,
Yeah.
so they're maybe 525, right? Depending on how much debt they have. But
Yeah.
you also have some people who, they have higher incomes than that. So anyway, I don't like overpricing properties. I get really stressed out.
Well, the other thing is your strategy, especially at that 499, is let's list it a little bit lower just because 500 is a much more sensible number for a lot of people's budgets and headspace when they're looking at houses versus, oh, it's now 550. 550 might be like, oh, that's pushing it a bit.
Right.
Whereas 500, oh, yeah, I can deal with that. I can wrap my
And
head.
they still might bid 549. You don't know, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Because if they, anyway, there's not a lot of sense to the market.
No.
The only sense is I believe it's going back to where it was.
Yeah. Yeah, and is the price going to come down? Probably not.
No.
But is it going to behave more sensibly in terms of days on market, amount of inventory, amount of offers? Yes, that's going to be a lot more sensible. But I don't think we're ever going back down to a $400,000 average.
No.
That's never happening.
And so my conversation with Chandler's like, yeah, it's going to go up again by 5%. And I'm like,
Yeesh.
you can't look at the average price point
No.
and put that a blanket right across the whole market, because I could have had $20 million or $2 million home sell.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's
And that's the
price.
example of January.
Yeah.
There was of 190 something houses that sold, 40 something were over $1 million.
Yeah.
So that's easily going to drag the average up. And I'm kind of
You must
hoping.
look at condos too, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I only look at the single family homes.
Yeah. So I threw the condos in there as well. So again, you look at that and say, okay, if there's that many homes over $1 million, nearly 25% of houses in January were over $1 million. Of course, it's going to drag the average up.
Yeah, because
So it's just a blip.
The average list price in January was $672. Last year was $629. And the average selling price, so there you go, right?
Yeah.
Was $648, and last year was $608. Because there were a few homes out in Indigo Shores that sold over there was one that sold over $3 million.
Yeah. And that's a huge number. That's going to pull the average up easily.
Yeah, I didn't look at the median, but no, I just do the averages on my Excel. So where do you see, again, I just see us in a stable, normal market.
Yes,
Do you
sensible.
do you think the tariffs would?
It's a good question, because the tariffs are really, if the US is placing tariffs on Canada, that's the US that's going to have to bear that, although it's going to impact the Canadian exporters because they have to put the money on it.
Yeah.
But it's up to the Americans to decide whether they want to pay for it or not. If the Americans go, fine, I don't care, I'll still pay that, well, there's no effect on Canada then.
No.
But I think the biggest thing that we're looking to hope, and I'm glad they've actually started looking at this, is let's keep Canada trading within Canada.
Yes.
Let's get rid of all these borders between Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Alberta. Let's keep Canada selling to Canada. Why is that not a good idea? So thank you, Mr. Trump, for making us do that.
I know.
Because finally you go, I don't care. Let's have more Canadian cross-border transportation and goods and everything else, because that's only good for Canada. So I don't see it making a big effect. Interest rates is always going to be an interesting one. We've had a few drops, and I was amazed even in January that they dropped the rate again. I thought for sure January, just nothing. stay quiet. No, let's drop it again. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the buyer pool. And certainly I talked to one of my 3 leading indicators for how busy the market's going to be is how many pre-approvals is a mortgage broker doing. And the guy I work with, Andrew Hutchinson, he's like, it's been my busiest pre-approval January ever.
Yeah.
Now that's just pre-approvals. It's not, here's the deal, approve me. But it tells you people are starting to look and potentially get ready.
Did he have a price point? Because again, when the 30-year amortization came into effect, that was in what, November, December?
Yeah.
So people are just over, okay, giddy up, I'm ready to go.
There we go. Yeah, because now I can save $500-600 a month on my so-called mortgage payment because I've just put an extra 5 years on.
Yeah.
So he didn't say that was, maybe that's the question I'll ask him next, is like, what was the average of those pre-approvals? Like, are we talking like 6 to 7s or are we in the 4 to 5s?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people that I'm talking to that are coming off any kind of advertising we're doing, they're all in that 4 to 5 range. And I'm like, that's a hard market to be in.
Oh, I know. Well, under 600 last year, we had last year 149 homes.
Yeah.
But then this year has been 143 homes.
Yeah.
That market is still a phenomenal market.
Yeah.
It's and I believe if you're a first-time home buyer, just get in.
Yeah.
Make it pretty.
Yeah.
And sit on the place for 5-10 years and just let your money grow.
Well, my eldest, Jack, 24, 25 in July this year, got the job, doing very well at Dalhousie, getting paid 80,000 Canadian a year. And I'm like, okay, when I moved here 18 years ago, that's more than my starting salary.
Yep.
So well done. But now I'm having that conversation of like, please tell me you're chunking quite a lot of your net income away into some kind of a first-time home savers account, because you need to be buying, I think, a duplex rental property, either a side-by-side or an under-and-over, that needs some love. Because you're single, you don't have boyfriend, girlfriend, any attachments, any of that kind of stuff, so you have time.
Yep.
And I'm pretty handy. So if I need to come down for a weekend and start throwing the hammer and the chainsaw and the drywall and whatever, great, we'll do that together. But build up some equity through sweat equity.
Yep.
Put your time and effort and money into it, wait a couple of years, and then go, okay, trade up time. Or, better yet, keep that, rent the side you were living in or the floor or whatever, take the equity and let's go and buy another one.
Yep. Oh, you know what? I wish I had known better when I was younger, but I didn't.
Oh God, yeah. If I'd have only started some of the stuff I did in my 40s, in my 20s.
I know.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Isn't it?
Oh, and also listening to your parents is something that people should do. But if you could have a word with my son to say your dad knows what he's talking about, that would be amazing.
Oh, he probably may not listen either.
No, probably not. No. He'll say, I know who sent you.
Well, Richard, you're a good man to come in all the way from Fall River. Like I know it was a trek, like right in here to Bedford.
Yeah.
But you are the only other agent who looks at stats the way. But I love looking at the stats. Like
it tells you the trend.
Yeah.
And therefore you can make smarter decisions going forwards based on trends.
And you know what's funny? So same topic but off topic. Like I've tracked my own sales since I got into the industry from 2011.
Right.
Then when I started the team in 2014. So I can see the trends.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, how we were, and it has nothing to do with the number of people who were on the team or whatnot, but you know, I can see the price points, how they went up. Okay, we had a bad year here, and but it was the whole market, having a bad year.
Yeah.
But anyway, like today and the past few days, I've been super pumped because
busy. I'm
normal.
Yes.
And COVID, I was like, this is not right. Like, what is this? Like 4 houses a month? Like, who does that? I just, because I'm used to. Anyway, I'm excited to be. To have the fire again. Like it's, something to
well, that's it for you as well, being like primarily the listing agent focus. That's more your style. Then if you're starting to do more listing appointments, that means that chances are, I mean, you're a big agent, you have a fairly large share of the market. But at the same time, if you're getting busy, that means there's probably trickle down for everybody else who's also going, oh yeah, I've got X number of listings coming to the market in the next 2 months. Well, great. That means we're building more and more listings.
Yeah.
The trick is, great, now let's get more and more buyers.
That's it. And we just have locals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, boss, thank you for coming out today.
No problem.
We're going to get you out again because we haven't been together since COVID.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, we should spend more time together.
I agree. Will you come over to World Page?
Yes, we'll discuss that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.